I want to travel, and I don't know why I do. Maybe it's because it's kind of the done thing. Once you graduate school, you go on a bit of a travel, or maybe it's because my parents have been kind of saying that it's a good idea, but I don't know, I just do. And I'm excited to, but there's like those two options where I also want to pursue a career and become really fucking successful, and I have that drive to do it, but I also have this want to travel and see the world and do all this cool shit. But I'm trying to figure out whether this is like a pleasure seeking, short attention span kind of thing, or if it's genuinely like a good, purposeful desire. And I think it's a bit of both, because obviously the thrill and the high of traveling and new experiences, new environment, the novelty of all that shit is just going to be constant dopamine hits. But it's also a good way, well, speaking from experience, it's also a good way to get a new perspective on shit and kind of discover a little bit about the world, because the world is really fucking big. And I don't think anyone can really realize just how big it is and just how easy it is to get lost in it and get stuck in your own little head. And maybe zooming out a bit and seeing a few thousand more people than I usually would is what might be good for me. I don't know. But obviously, the money that it takes to do that, the time and like the time away from home will impact my choices in terms of a career and in terms of being successful. But it would make great content. So I think if I did, my current thinking is if I did do traveling, I'd want to do a long stint. So I'd want to stay over there, hopefully work over there in one way or another, do it reasonably cheap, and do like 4 or 5 months of work, and then 1 month of like pure traveling, seeing shit, new experiences, new whatever, and then I don't know, we'll see. But definitely a long trip, which would be a big thing. And I don't know, I'm looking towards trying to do it with someone else, but it might potentially be a solo trip, and that would be pretty fucking scary. But ideally, I'd want to see Europe, and I'd obviously do the touristy countries, hopefully do like a ski season of some sort, and then work there for a while, potentially in England or somewhere similar, France, Germany, something like that, and then do like a month or so of traveling, kind of bit of like Kentucky style something, and see where I go from there. But the two kind of options that I've been looking into to saving money is doing some sort of house sitting or au pair, which is like nannying, like you look after these people's kids and they give you a room and food and whatever and a bit of money, and pairing that with some sort of job. So working somewhere in like a bar or something like that, or ideally, which is hard to do and I'd have to do some preparation first to set it up, is do a like freelancing gig or remote work. So get a job at a company with remote work, ideally in sales or marketing, because that's kind of what I'm interested in at the moment, and be able to do that with flexible hours, get 3 or 4 hours of that done a day, and then kind of have the rest free time, which would give me a fair amount of money to be able to spend when I'm traveling, and also give me experience in fields that I'm interested in and want to pursue in the future. But this would obviously take a lot of planning. It's also very hard to line up with people that I would want to go with. So everyone's got their own lives they want to live. The few friends that I would really want to do it with, I think I'd want to do it just me and someone else, like just 2 people, because it's kind of hard to organize this kind of shit with more than that. But 2 people, save a bit of money on accommodation and stuff, whatever, but to organize it, to do it at the same time, in the same places, doing the same thing, would be kind of hard. So I'm going to look into that a bit more, but I think this is a decent thing to pursue. I think it's a good thing even though it's kind of like a thrill-seeking thing that maybe isn't like a long-term good thing. Like I'm not pushing towards something. I'm still going to be having really good experiences. I'm going to try and make the most out of it. I'm still going to be hopefully pushing forward with this YouTube channel, and then potentially have some sort of side gig going on that could do my career some justice. So ideally, this is the ideal situation. I would spend next year in uni at some course, which I still haven't decided yet. I would then go at the end of that year, I would defer for a year and go for the European winter and do a ski season there, working in a bar or on the lifts or something like that, which wouldn't leave me with much money left over from that, but I'd have the ski season there to ski. I'd work, I'd hang out, have fun. I'd then do a stint doing au pair and ideally remote work for a few months, which would lead me into around about May 2026. And then I would either do a few months of traveling, or like 1 or 2 months of heavy traveling as the World Cup is on in Europe, or I would go over to America and Mexico and watch some of the World Cup games live. And then hopefully from there, either do another stint of work in England or France or whatever, or just come back home, or like meet up with someone else, meet up with my family for a trip, do something like that. So I'd either do a couple months and then do another little trip through maybe some of the lesser traveled parts of Europe, like Eastern Europe a bit more, because I'm actually really interested in looking at that sort of stuff, maybe some Scandinavian stuff as well, and then come back home at the end of the year, which would be fucking insane. It would be almost a full year of being away from home completely. And that would be a massive thing. Lots of money. We'll see. But I don't know. This is a dream I've had for a while. I have really wanted to travel for a long time. But the other thing that's kind of crossed my mind a little bit is, do I want to do it now when money is short and it's going to be a stretch to do this stuff, or should I do it when I'm when I'm rich and successful, when I've got time on my hands? But like the saying says, there's no time like the present, and I don't know. I just really would want to get the most out of this experience and get as much out of it as I could, which means if I go as being like 18, 19, I'd be 19 turning 20. I may not have the life experience to fully enjoy it yet, and it might just kind of all go by in a rush. I'm not sure, and I want to make sure I enjoy it to the max, get the most out of it as I can, and come back with the experience, but also with some sort of knowledge on what the fuck I want to do with my life. Because I mean, I enjoy YouTube, I enjoy soccer. I don't know how long term either of those things are, and the pressure's starting to pile up. The choices are there. University applications open in a month or so. It's exciting, but it's fucking scary at the same time. So I guess we'll have to see what happens, hey?